how to start a spice business from home. So if you're looking to get into the spice business, guess what? Cottage food laws throughout the entire country allow you to actually start spice businesses from almost every single state, and it costs a lot less than you might think. So if you love spices and you're looking to dive into the spice industry and you want to start a small business from home, this is going to be the video you want to watch from beginning to end, because it's specifically about businesses from home selling spices. All right, welcome back to Marketing Food Online. So in this video, we are going to take a little bit of a deep dive into what it's like to start a home-based spice business. I'm actually not going to give you a bunch of random numbers. I'm going to give you specific steps that you need to take in order to launch an actual successful spice business from home. We're going to dive from number 1. We're going to go all the way down to 8. There's going to be 8 specific steps that are the most crucial in order for you to understand the process. And I'm going to make it short and sweet and to the point, so you might want to take some notes, or you can watch this video a few times back to back. Make sure you understand what it takes. Now, like I said before, if this is new, definitely hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. My name is Damian Roberti. I am a food entrepreneur. I have been with my wife for over 13 years now. We've operated our e-commerce businesses. I've owned bakeries, delis, and some catering businesses with our Italian bakery as well. So I've had a lot of experience in the food industry. So what I'm going to give you is definitely going to be some useful information. Number 1, market research. All right, so yes, I know it sounds a little boring, but yes, market research is essentially like doing homework before you start a project. You need to understand who would be buying your spices, your audience actually, what kind of spices they prefer, and who else is selling spices in your area as competitors. Now, how to do that? How do you actually do that, Damien? Surveys and feedback. Now, you can actually check with friends, ask friends, family, people online which spices or blends they often use, or do a little bit of research online to find out what is the most popular. Observation is also a good one. Look at what's selling in your local stores. Check out, just Google it, see what's selling online. Notice any trends like organic or even salt-free blends, which have taken off really in popularity. A lot of people are cutting back on salt. Salt-free blends of spices are hugely popular right now. Number 2, business planning. A business plan is a detailed document that outlines what you aim to do and how you plan to succeed. Now, it's kind of like a map for your business journey, showing you where you want to go and how you're actually going to get there. Now, some key components to executing a business plan. Number 1, executive summary. So this needs to be a snapshot of your business and goals. What exactly are the goals, and what type of business, obviously your spices, are you going to get into? Market analysis. Now, what you find in your market research. What is it exactly that you found about spices that are selling and not selling? What direction do you think you want to take your spice business? Financial plan. You want a budget and forecast of your earnings and your potential expenses. Now, this is a little tricky, but you can definitely project it and get an idea of how much you want to spend and where you think you'll be as far as sales. The most important step is number 3, sourcing the spices. This step is about finding the right ingredients for your products. You'll want to find suppliers who can provide high quality spices at a good price. Considerations to think about: quality versus price. Higher quality often means higher price, but better customer satisfaction. Believe it or not, nowadays you can get really good high quality online and numerous places on numerous websites, and you can actually pay a lot less than you might think. Here's a little tip: make sure you get websites that give free shipping. If you have a set amount, if you spend like over $100, you get free shipping. Any website that charges on top of their actual rate, you could be overpaying. Number 4, compliance and licensing. Now, running a spice business from home means that you need to comply with local food safety and business regulations, and that normally falls under cottage food laws. So you want to specifically find out about your state. That's the most crucial thing. Every state is actually not the same. They're very different. So find out about your state's cottage food laws, and then you can go from there. Basic requirements: business license, obviously permission to operate your business. Many cottage food businesses actually do require some type of licensing or permit, so you want to, again, double check your state specifically and be sure that you apply for them. You don't want to operate without it. Also, get yourself an LLC and food business insurance. Now, by the way, down below in the description section, you can find some links to help you out as well. You can actually create an LLC online in a matter of just a few minutes actually. You can even get insurance policies very quick. So definitely check. We got some extra additional resources. Next up would be food safety permits. So you want to ensure your handling and storage of spices meet your health standards. That also is going to fall in line with what you are expected under your cottage food laws. Number 5, branding and packaging. Branding is actually how you present your business to the world. Look like basically choosing the right outfit for the interview, if you will. Packaging not only keeps your spices fresh, but also needs to catch the eye of potential buyers. This could be actually online or even in retail stores if you're allowed to do that as well from home. So you want to make sure it stands out. Here's a couple of tips, by the way. Design. You want to make clear, attractive labels with your logo that tell the spice's story. Materials. You want to ensure your packaging preserves the spice quality, not just keeps them in containers. You definitely want to make sure you're using the right jar or container or packaging. Number 6, marketing and sales. Marketing is about how you tell people about your spices, and sales are obviously how they can buy them. So you want to ensure that you market. Some strategies for online marketing, by the way, using social media or a website to reach customers is a no-brainer, but you might want to learn some of the Facebook ads or Google ads. I'm going to have some videos here on Marketing Food Online that are going to show you exactly how to run spice business ads for Facebook, by the way. Number 7 is distribution. This is about how you get your spices into the hands of customers. Starting simple is key, such as selling direct to customers online or even local settings. Under cottage food laws, there's a multitude of ways locally to actually sell your spices. Here's some options. Direct sales. This is sell through your website or social platforms. Many states now allow you to have a sell online. As long as you are delivering it in person or you're following their shipping and guidelines, you can actually do it through the internet, even from your home. Retail partnerships. Local stores may actually agree to stock your spices. Many cottage food laws in many states actually allow you to sell through retail stores, believe it or not. Definitely a route you want to go. You can be much more profitable selling in bulk. Number 8, customer feedback and quality improvement. This is something you need to pay attention to. I cannot underestimate the amount of times that I've learned so much from customers who give us compliments and of course even complaints. You want to make sure you find out why. So after selling your spices, it's important to listen to what your buyers say to improve your products and services. This can be done through surveys or just even ask your customers for their opinion about their purchase. Review request. If you're selling online on a platform, you can potentially have a review request and ask them to leave some reviews. So these 8 specific steps are a good foundation if you're looking to start a spice business from home. If you have questions about spice business, give us a comment down below. Check out our channel. We've got over 2 dozen more additional videos about spice businesses that'll be very helpful. I'll see you on our next video. All right, so how much does it cost to start a spice business? Well, I've done quite a few videos here on Marketing Food Online about starting spice businesses and how to do it, but I haven't broken down the actual cost. Now I'm going to show you a way to launch a very small home-based spice business that you can get up and running for less than $1,500. Yes, you've got $1,500 and you want to start a spice business. I'm going to walk you through exactly how that works. We're going to get to that right now. All right, so welcome back to Marketing Food Online. It's Damian Roberti, founder and CEO of Marketing Food Online. Got my marker. Now in this board behind me, I'm actually going to walk you through step by step how to get a spice business, very small, up and running spice business online. And as far as the costs are concerned, I'm going to break down each individual cost so you understand how to get up and running. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Damian, well, what kind of a business can I really start as far as a spice business for $1,500? Well, you can get one up and running, very small, very simple, very easy. And I'm going to say it's not easy to run, but it is easy to start if you follow these steps. Every small business, of course, is going to take work, time, patience, and everything else in between. So don't think that any business, for that matter, I've been in business myself for about 14 years now. It is not an easy task, but you can definitely do it if you're willing to do the work. So let's dive right into number 1. Now, there's a couple of things you need to know about starting a spice business when you're sourcing your spices. You can, number one, create your own spice blends. You can bring together a multitude of spices and make them. You can sell spices individually as units, or you can pre-buy already made spice blends and repackage them and put your own label on them. So the first thing you want to do is get your spices. You want to figure out what kind of spices you want to have up and running. Now, this could run for your first investment only about $400 to $500. Yes, I highly recommend you start one with about maybe 2 to 3 variations, maybe even 4. But I wouldn't go anything much more than that when you first start. These price points I'm going to give you are going to be estimates, and they're going to be based upon starting about 2 or 3 different variations, not an entire lineup of 12, 16, 24 different spices. And if you don't have any e-commerce experience, I highly recommend you start small. And yes, you can do it with 2 or 3 variations. You don't have to have a ton of them up and running. So number one is going to be your spices. So number 2, we're actually going to go with bottles. You're going to get your bottles, and you don't need 1,000 of them. You just need a few to get up and running. Now, bottles, I put you at a price point for bottles of between about $100 to $200 in cost. It might be a little bit less, to be honest with you. That's a little on the high side. You've got spices and you've got your bottles. Now, Damien, I want to go with glass bottles, or maybe I want to do some of those little tin square bottles that I've seen, or they're rectangular bottles that I've seen in the stores that are made of tin or metal. Here's a few things to think of. When you first launch a business, specifically with food, and you don't have a proof of concept just yet, you don't want to invest a lot of money in really high-end expensive packaging. You can always transition into a fancier packaging when you begin to turn a profit. But if you're starting something small and you want to start with a minimal investment, you don't need a fancy bottle, because your label, and I'll get to that in a minute, you can create these labels that'll make the actual packaging look fantastic. So plastic bottles are going to be great. You've got the shaker lid on top, you've got the cap, and that includes even the sealer, the plastic seal, safety seal for the top of it, okay? So you need some bottles, and that's going to get you about $200. Number 3, now you want to get into your labels. Here on Marketing Food Online, I've made numerous videos showing you how to actually print and make your own labels. When it comes to spice bottles, based on the size, I can tell you right now, you can print them for about 8 to 12 cents at the most yourself. Yes, 8 to 12 cents. The company that we specifically buy from, just to put a plug out there for them, is Online Labels. Online Labels is one that we actually create the label and print it directly from their templates. We have to utilize their labels, of course, when you actually do that. I'll put some links down below here to those other videos for those labels as well, the label printing videos. They show you how you can actually make them very inexpensively. But 8 to 10 cents, and believe it or not, based on the size of spice bottles, based on what I know for the dimensions, it might actually be even less than that. So if you invested in labels for your first startup, you're only going to need around labels. You're going to need only around between $10 to maybe $20 worth of labels. Yes. And again, this is to get you started. Now remember, as you sell through these and you begin to make some money in your profit, you can transition to fancier labels if you want someone to print them. You can go to fancier bottles or packaging, or even just bags, whatever it may be. But you don't need that when you first get up and running. Number 4, you need to create a logo. Now, you don't have to be a graphic designer to do this. You can create a logo for $30 to $40 on Fiverr. Yes, I've actually had numerous labels that I've actually had, or logos that I've had made, anywhere from $35 to $45 I've done on Fiverr over and over and over, and they're fantastic. You got to make sure you get obviously the right maker, the right graphic designer, and get the specs as to what you want the logo to be, because that's going to be part of your brand and part of the image that you're looking for. But you don't have to make it rocket science. It doesn't need to be overthought. Okay, so don't overthink this too much. Fiverr is a fantastic place to go. You get it for around $30 to $40. Okay, so number 5 is going to be your website. Now, you need to make your own website. Do not, I repeat, do not have someone else make and produce a website for you. I know it sounds enticing. It sounds exciting. I can just pass it off to someone else. Here's the problem with that. If you build out your own store on Shopify, you build out a store on GoDaddy or Weebly.com, wherever it may be, you need to understand how the website actually works, the functionality and the everyday, day in and out, the working operations of your website. When you build it yourself on the back end, you're going to understand that. Because why? Why is that so important, Danny? Because if I hired somebody out to do a website for me and they created it, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or a month later, I have a problem with it, and I don't understand how that works. I have a customer who wants to buy $500 worth of spices, and they can't check out because maybe your cart's not put on there properly. Maybe you're not properly set up for PayPal or a payment processor. What are you going to do? Are you going to contact the person who made your website? Guess what? They're going to be about 20 or 30 websites down the road, and they're going to get back to you in a couple months. That's going to hold up your business. But if you spend the time to make your own website it's going to cost you considerably less, and you're going to know how the website works. You can't just set it up and forget about it. Set it and forget it is not a good philosophy when it comes to e-commerce. It does not work. You're going to set up a website, and guess what? It's only going to cost you about 40 to 50 bucks to have a subscription for that Shopify store, for that GoDaddy store, whatever it may be. It might even be less than that. But our website right now costs us $49.99 a month through Shopify because we have some other apps that we make, that we actually have a website. So it's around 40 to 50 bucks. That's it. It's just going to take your time, and you need to be patient with it, and you can create your own. Upload your own images. You can take pictures with your phone. You can do the descriptions. You can do the keywords. You can do all of that stuff yourself. But to get up and running the first month, you're looking at about $40 to $50 for the website. Now, I don't recommend just staying on your own website. You need to be on eBay and Etsy, and if possible, you can go to Amazon. Well, Damien, doesn't this going to cost me more money? It sure will. But you know how much it is? A professional seller's account on Amazon, I believe it's $39.99 a month to have a professional. And then eBay, I believe it's around $29 or so. And then Etsy, actually per listing, it's around 20 cents plus a couple other fees. So you're talking, let's say on a high end, let's say $15 to get up and running. That is nothing. That's 40, 30, 70, 85 bucks. Very, very little. So you want to be on Amazon, eBay, and Etsy, and your own website, because here is the problem. There's a huge misconception that having a website online is all you need in order for you to sell spices or anything for that matter. That's wrong. It's incorrect, because you will not get any traffic to your website. So you need to be found on websites such as eBay that have an existing customer base. You need to be found on Etsy, which again has an existing customer base, and so does Amazon. All of these websites have traffic already that you don't have to actually pay for in order for you to at least expose people to your spices. If you want to get customers and get some eyeballs on your product, utilize their websites plus your own, because you're going to get a lot of people who are going to go to eBay or go to Amazon. They're going to find your spices and love them and buy them. Then they're going to learn a little bit more about your own website. So what they're going to do from there is go to your website that you built on Shopify or Weebly. So don't rely solely upon selling strictly on your own website. Leverage other platforms. That's what they're there for, okay? Now, next up is going to be number 6. Let's get into some business and legalities of it. So you want to get your business license to do this. Now, you're going to be doing this from home. And even though you may fall under cottage food laws, there's actually a way that you can operate an e-commerce business completely from home without you even touching your spices. It's having a co-packer or a private label company produce them for you, send them to fulfillment centers, which we'll touch on in just a minute. Business license normally costs anywhere for a home license about 75 to 125 bucks. And these are annual. Okay, now with a business license, you also want to create an LLC. I'll have some links down below as well. You can actually check on LLCs you can create online for literally 100, 200 bucks, and maybe even 300 at the most, and you're done. And you can make them within 10 to 15 minutes. So your LLC formation, you're going to be about 200 to 300. Okay? Next up, you're going to get insurance. You need to have business liability product insurance. Insurance, Damien, doesn't that cost a lot of money? I got to pay. No, because you can use companies like the one that we use, for instance, is Next Insurance. Next Insurance allows us to pay by the month. Our monthly fee for that, I believe, is around $42 to come out of pocket with $500, $600, $700, or even $800 or $1,000 for an insurance policy for a whole year. You simply pay it by the month. So you're looking, again, start up your spice business around 40 to 50 bucks at the most. That's for a basic product liability insurance. Now let's get into the logistics, where we just talked about fulfillment centers. So you're saying, Damien, I can run this business from home. Yes, the business side of it you can run from home. If you decide to go online, there's 2 ways to do this. Your spice business can be run from home, and you make the spices and you bring the products in, you create an ingredients, you put them together, you sell them locally at farmers markets, or you sell them online in some states that allow you to ship within the state. Now, if you want to go the next step and you want to have a full-blown e-commerce business and you want to ship across state lines, you'll have to have a fulfillment center take the product from a co-packer, private label company, send that to a fulfillment center. Now, what's a fulfillment center, Damien? I have no idea what that is. So number 8 is fulfillment centers. These are websites, these are warehouses that will ship your product for your e-commerce website business. So that means that once the spice is made, you're not touching it, right? You're not shipping it over state lines. You can still operate from your home. Have the company, your fulfillment center, get the product from your co-packer or your private label company, and they put it in a warehouse, and they're going to charge you anywhere from 30 cents up to maybe about 75 cents per unit for spices. This is going to vary, of course, based on a couple of factors, but all in all, when you're talking about spices, they're very small and they're very lightweight. About 75 cents. If you go with Amazon FBA fulfillment, they're skyrocketed their fees. If the product weighs more than a pound, you're talking about several dollars to fill it. It's outrageous. But a fulfillment center can ship the product through your website. For instance, you're selling on eBay. I go there and I buy your spice. You can have the fulfillment center ship your eBay order for you. So again, you're not doing the logistics. You're not doing the fulfillment. That would be outside of the realm of cottage food, and that's not legal, technically. So if you do this way, this method actually allows you to operate your business from home, a home office, but you're not manufacturing, you're not making them there. You're having a co-packer do it for you. Lastly, you want to do on number 9. This is going to be what we talked about, local. Now, if you want to make them yourself, you want to buy the spices and blend them and create a spice blend product or a whole line of spices and sell them at farmers markets, fairs, and festivals. There are fees involved with that. So, Damien, you want to talk about $1,500 or so for spice business. How much does it cost to sell locally? Well, farmers markets, local venues are going to charge you either a couple of ways. A flat fee they're going to charge you. They can say, hey, you got for $100, you can be here the whole weekend. $100 farmers market, maybe even less than that. Set up your tent, set up your area. You can sample out your spices. You can sell your spices and so on. That's a local fee. Now, it could also be the other way where they're going to charge you a percentage. They say, Damien, well, we charge 5% of whatever you make. So if you want to start a local spice business, you can be charged either a flat fee for local events or a flat fee with a percentage or just a percentage. Again, very minuscule, very small startup. You can start this business with less than $1,500. So if we added up all of these here, you've got on the high end, let's just take the high end estimations, 500, 700, 720, 760, and you're looking at 810, you're looking at about 90, so that's around 1,000, 1,300, 1,340. You're looking at just over $1,500, slightly over $1,500 to get started. So, what business can I start with around $1,500 or $2,000 less? And can I even do a spice business? Yes, you can. This is a very quick, easy breakdown of what it would cost to get up and running. Now, some of these might be slightly higher, but also some of them might be slightly lower as far as your fees. But can you get a spice business started for this much money? Most definitely you can. You can even do it online and you can have an e-commerce business up and running immediately, or you can even sell it out of your house through cottage food law, because most states, actually almost every state that I know of, when it comes to spices and spice blends and herbs and such, that is something that is allowed. And it's not a non-potentially hazardous food product. So you can do it at home, and you can even expand your presence online, and you can sell locally or even online. As long as you are having online, you've got a fulfillment center and you've got a company sending the product to you, so you're never touching it. Okay? So that is how much it costs to start a spice business. If you have any questions about it, definitely let us know down below. If you actually started or launched a spice business and you've got some experience, please leave us some comments, because some of our new subscribers here on Marketing Food Online would love to hear about it. But also, check out these videos as well for any additional resources that you might be looking for and interested in. This will help you get some food businesses up and running. See you guys in our next video.
If you're a beginner in the spice world business and are looking for a profitable spice business to start, I'm actually going to give you 14 different ways that you can sell spices. If you're a beginner or you're just getting started and have spices, this will be a great handful of ideas that you would have never thought of, and we're going to get into those right now. Alright, so let's dive right into this list. If you are looking to create a successful spice business, I'm going to give you 14 different ways, yes, 14 different ideas and different avenues that you could actually sell spices. If you're already started and you're looking for several different ways to branch out, hopefully this will give you some great creative ideas and kind of a brainstorm session, if you will. And I'm going to give you some really interesting ways that you can sell your spices. But as always, if you're new to Marketing Food Online, check out that subscribe button. We've got over 800 videos for the food entrepreneur. If you're looking to start, of course, a spice business, or if you a food truck or sell products online, we are definitely the source for your information. So let's dive into this list. Now, this is in no particular importance list. It's just basically 14 different ideas, different ways to do this. So Number one, if you're looking to actually start a spice business from scratch, very low budget, I highly recommend, number one, you start at home. Sell spices from home. There's actually almost every state in the United States offers what's known as cottage food laws, and these are laws that allow you to sell food or certain products that are food related from home. Almost all of them actually allow you to do spice blends or seasoning blends, as they may put it. So selling it from home is number one. And you can sell at farmers markets, festivals, fairs, food festivals. You can do them at wine tastings. You can do them at assortment of different food get-togethers and gatherings. And you can do that from home by packaging, labeling. And of course, every state has their own labeling guidelines. But home is really a fantastic place to do it because your investment is very, very low. You're not having to get a big facility. Okay, so number two, wholesale. You can wholesale spices. Basically, wholesaling works in a couple of different ways. So wholesale kind of refers to two possible business models, okay? One business model may buy goods in a larger quantity directly from like a manufacturer and wholesale them, and resell them. Or another way is actually selling wholesale that you manufacture them. You actually make them yourself. And it could be under your own brand, or you could have a co-packer or a private label company make them for you and do it that way, okay? So number two is wholesaling. Number three is online. This is through your own website, okay? And I'm going to go over actually a couple of different e-commerce variations next down the list, but this one is your own website. Basically creating one like on Weebly, Shopify, having an e-commerce business or an e-commerce present on your own website. That is another great way that you could sell spices if you haven't thought of that. Next up, restaurants. You can supply restaurants. Yes, believe it or not, even doing it from home, some states allow you to actually supply it as an ingredient. So if you have let's say, a really unique Asian blend of spices and you have a couple of restaurants around in your neighborhood or area or even your city, you can even go and sell them to restaurants, okay? So number four is restaurants. Now, number five, Amazon. Of course, everybody knows what Amazon is. Selling them online on that platform is a no-brainer. There are millions of customers looking for spices, and they go to Amazon. So selling your spices online through Amazon, having that store separate from your own website, is another great way to be online. Now, number six. Now, this may be odd, it may sound funny or weird, but we actually do this with our candy business, YouTube. You can actually create very short videos on YouTube and use it as a platform to sell and promote and market your spices. How do you use YouTube to sell stuff? Well, what you do is you actually create those videos, you post them on YouTube, explaining either a certain recipe that uses your spices, how you actually blend your spices. You don't have to give out a recipe for it, but actually how you blend it or how you put it together, or even behind the scenes on how you make it. And then in the description below the video, you can add links to all of your online stores or even your own website. Okay, YouTube. Next up, Walmart. Walmart.com. Yes, you can actually sell products, your own food products, on Walmart. If this is something you've never thought of before, Walmart.com is a fantastic place to create your own storefront, and that would allow you to actually sell your spices through them. Okay. Next up, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is gigantic. And yes, again, you can leverage LinkedIn like you do YouTube. When you go on LinkedIn, you can create a profile dedicated to your spice business. And then in there, you could put additional links to your YouTube videos about your spices. You could put additional links on there to your websites, even to your Amazon store, your Walmart store. If you've got your own website that you've created through Shopify or Weebly, you can also do that as well. So LinkedIn is a great place, and you can also connect and network with a lot of food industry executives, restaurateurs, food truck owners. These are people who would be interested in buying your spices. The next way to sell your spices, private label. Now, I don't mean private label in the way that you think, but I'm talking about you offering the service to put other people's names on your spices is a huge industry. Co-packing and private labeling, in a sense, where you can offer on your website a variety of your own spice blends or spices, and you can actually put someone else's, another company on that will pay you to put their name and their label on your product. And you basically make minimum order amount could be 500 bags to 1,000 bags, but we do private labeling. We'll put your logo, put your information on it, and you can actually create a private label spice business, but you do the actual private labeling. Next up, subscription. Believe it or not, subscription business, a monthly spice subscription business, is another way to actually sell spices online. And this is actually cool because it creates a reoccurring amount of money every month, and you can offer a huge variety of spices. And guess what? You don't have to actually sell your own spices. You can actually curate a variety of spices that you get, or you can buy online or buy them in bulk or buy them in wholesale, or even get them from retail at a low price and flip them into subscription boxes. So subscription boxes is another great way to sell spices. Next up, sell it on the Facebook marketplace. Facebook has an ability on their platform for you to create a store to sell your products. Plus, you're in front of hundreds of millions of potential customers every month, and you can run Facebook ads tied into your store very easily, so it's very seamless. Facebook is another place to actually sell spices. Next up, eBay. Everybody knows who eBay is, right? But if you haven't thought of it and you're a beginner into spice business idea, you can actually open a store on eBay and focus it completely on nothing but spices, spice blends, and herb blends, and rubs, and you can create a storefront on eBay. Next up is Etsy, Etsy.com. Yes, you can actually sell your own spices because it's, again, your own brand. You can sell them on Etsy.com, and they are gigantic. They're actually growing at a very steady pace, almost at the point where they're going to be very similar to eBay as far as the size and opportunity. Okay, and lastly, manufacturing. So basically, this is the higher end. If you're looking to invest a lot more money in a bigger facility and you wanted to manufacture them in very large bulk and very large quantity, you can manufacture your own spices. This isn't something where manufacturing wouldn't be considered like a cottage food business, where you're doing a smaller portion and a smaller amount, where you're selling just a few bags here and there. We're talking about even 5, 10, 15 pounds, which could be sold for food service. These are businesses and companies that distribute larger quantities and portions to franchise restaurants, hotels, resorts, universities, colleges. These are very large bulk quantities, but manufacturing them, that's another way. Okay, so that was a really quick video giving you some brainstorming ideas about 14 different ways that you can actually sell your spices and make money. So a lot of times, a lot of people, when they first start out, they may be thinking, you know what, I'm going to do it from home, and I'm going to do it on a small scale, and there's nothing wrong with that. But these are going to be about 14 different variations, ideas that could potentially open the door for you to give you ideas to go in multiple directions at once, because it'll increase your amount of income. If you're looking to make more money in a multitude of different ways, don't just narrow your scope or your ideas. Hey, I just want to sell it in retail stores. You know what? Hey, I just wanted to sell it from my home and maybe I'll do farmers markets. Well, there's such a huge different way, if you get really creative and check out some of these ideas, that you can actually begin to create your own line of spices, but offer them in such a multitude of ways that you can have money coming in from 14 different directions. Is this easy to do? Well, obviously, no, it's not. It's going to definitely take some work. We operate 6 online e-commerce food businesses now, and it's definitely a lot to juggle, and it's a lot to manage, but it's definitely something that you can do. And as your obviously your business grows, so will your team, and you can get additional people to help you with the process. But having a multitude of e-commerce presence online is definitely a no-brainer, and I highly recommend you do that. So if this was helpful, as always, please let us know down below. And if you have any questions about your spice business, please let us know, and we will try to answer those as soon as possible. We'll see you guys on our next video.
Thanks for watching Marketing Food Online. And if you are looking to create your own food truck, start a home-based food business under the cottage food law, franchise a food operation, start a packaged food business, private label your own food product, sell on Amazon, get your own online store, or sell food online, remember to subscribe and check out these videos for more resources. Take care. So what are the pros and the cons of starting a spice business? So in this video, we're going to go over the 30 pros and cons of launching and growing a successful spice business. And it's not always what it's cracked up to be. So I'm going to go down a list of all the good things. And of course, with every business venture, there is a downside. So I'm going to go over those as well. We're going to dive into those 30 pros and cons of spice businesses right now. Welcome back to Marketing Food Online. So in this video, as I mentioned in the introduction, we're going to give you some great tips and pointers on launching and growing a spice business. But we're going to give you the good sides and, of course, the downsides. Now, as always, if this is your first video, you definitely want to hit the subscribe button. We have over 1,000 videos here on Marketing Food Online to help you, the food entrepreneur, get your business up and running. All right, so the first thing we're going to dive into, the pros. So pros of starting and running a spice business. All right, so right off the bat, wide market. Everyone uses spices, obviously. They are essential in every kitchen globally. So there is a huge customer base for it already in the marketplace. Next up, increasing demand. With more people becoming food enthusiasts, the demand for unique but high quality spices is growing rapidly. Potential for a high profit margin. Now, if you source directly from farmers or produce your own spices, you can enjoy high profit margins with a very small spice business. Online and e-commerce selling. Spices are very lightweight, making it easy to ship, making online sales a viable option and broadening your market to nearly hundreds of millions of potential customers through Amazon, eBay, and even Etsy. Now, there's a low startup cost. Depending on the business model, starting a spice business can actually have a lower upfront cost than literally any other food business known. Now, this also has a flexible business model. It can be started from home. You can even start and sell in retail stores. You can sell it online, but the flexibility is diverse in where you can go with your commerce business. Easy to diversify. So once established, the business can easily expand into related products, things like herbs, you can do teas, or even spice blends, increasing your overall profit margin. Value addition opportunities. You can offer premium products like even organic spices, spice gift sets, or even spice blends, increasing your profit margin per transaction. Seasonal sales boost. Now, there are many spices that experience a high demand during certain seasons or festivals. So far, if you found this information helpful, definitely give us a big thumbs up. And as always, if you have any comments, leave them in the section down below in the comments. We love to build out video content on you guys, our subscribers' questions. So let us know about your spice business. Next up, food trends opportunities. Now, capitalizing on food trends like ethnic foods or even health-conscious choices can actually increase your overall sales for your spice business. It's something you definitely should look into. Global sourcing. So you could source spices pretty much from anywhere in the world, providing a diverse product range. And if you dive into spice blends as opposed to the individual spices, you can even have additional profit margins. Now, the other great thing is low storage space requirements. Spices are compact, guys, so they don't really take up a lot of requirement space for storing or even warehousing them. So you can have a ton of them in a very small amount of space. There's also the health and wellness market. Now, spices like ginger, turmeric are sought after for their health benefits, giving another additional market angle when you begin to sell these spices. Educational opportunities. Now, you can also offer workshops or even tasting events, believe it or not, and they can create a community of customers that are loyal to your brand within just your area. And if you go online, you can increase that. Long shelf life. Properly stored spices can actually last quite a bit of time, reducing your loss and spoilage. All right, so now that we've covered the pros, we need to cover the cons with every business, of course, as I mentioned, and every venture. Actually, there's always two sides to the coin. So let's dive into the downside, the things that are not exactly the most fun part of spice businesses or potentially not all that positive. All right, here are the cons of running a spice business. All right, so right off the bat, regulations and compliance. So food businesses, like spice businesses, face very strict health and safety regulations, which can be challenging to navigate, especially if you're just launching and don't understand them fully. Next up, supply chain complexity. Now, as I mentioned, sourcing spices globally can lead to a supply chain issue, including quality control, logistical issues, and even customs problems. Of course, heavy competition. The spice market is highly competitive. With several established brands that actually already have a significant market share, it's a little bit of a challenge to get other people to see your product, especially when you're online. Customer trust. Now, convincing customers to switch from their favorite brands to your small spice startup can be a difficult challenge, especially from the marketing perspective. Storage conditions. Spices need to be stored correctly to maintain their aroma and flavor, which can be challenging, even though they have a long shelf life. Spoilage and waste. Now, despite that long shelf life, spices can spoil or lose their potency, leading to waste over time if they're not stored properly. Now, next up is going to be marketing costs. Now, to stand out in a crowded marketplace, significant marketing and branding efforts will be needed in order for people to get the attention on your specific spice brand. Now, inventory management. Now, managing a wide variety of spices and blends can be complicated, especially when you're sourcing them from overseas or from a multitude of different countries. Fluctuating commodity prices. Now, this is a big one. The prices of raw spices can fluctuate literally from week to week, impacting your profit margins and making it difficult for you to be profitable. Quality consistency. Now, when you source, maintaining the same quality and taste across batches can be very difficult, especially if you're mixing them by hand and not using a lot of equipment. The initial capital. Now, while startup costs may be lower than other businesses, The initial investment for inventory, though, packaging and equipment for the inventory, is still required and could be somewhat costly up front. Now, scaling your business. Scaling the business requires careful planning to maintain quality and, of course, customer satisfaction while you're trying to increase profits and productivity. Now, seasonality. And now, while certain seasons can boost in sales, there may also be slow periods affecting your cash flow when spices aren't predominantly used during holiday seasons or other events. Health claims. Now, making health claims about certain spices can lead to actually legal issues if you don't properly substantiate your claims through the FDA website. All right, so there you have it. It is the 30 pros and cons of launching and growing a spice business. Now, if you are contemplating a spice business for yourself, let us know what stage of where you're at in your business itself, and let us know down in the comments section. As I mentioned before, we love to build out our videos, and we'll answer your questions through our Q&A questions on another video. Check out these additional resource videos here about the spice business here on our channel, Marketing Food Online. And definitely remember to share this video with anyone that you may know that's looking to launch a spice business.